Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Quad with Next Home Wealth Builders, and today's topic is hidden cost of home ownership. Throughout the video, I'm gonna talk about a couple of upside of home ownership, and of course, I'm gonna point out a few downside of home ownership, and then give you an example of what a major hidden cost is being a homeowner. Of course, here's the list of the upside. One of them is obvious, is building equity. So when you purchase a home, you have a mortgage on it, and if you pay toward that mortgage every month, a portion of that mortgage will be paid toward the principal, and that's how you build equity. For example, if you borrowed 400,000 at the beginning of the home when you first purchase the home, and then over the year you pay toward the principal, then maybe 5 or 10 years down the line, you reduce that 400,000 in debt into in loan down to 300, and of course that means you build an extra $100,000 in equity. And if the house appreciate over the years, then the equity grow with the appreciation as well. Whereas if you rent a home, then you won't get that, because everything you pay toward for the rent, it's gonna go to the landlord, and there's nothing to help you build equity from there. The second item with home ownership is, of course, we're talking about, like, personalize the living space. So this is what I mean by personalize the living space. Like, if you rent a place, apparently you can't do whatever you want with the place. For example, like, if you see a picture here, you can't really decorate the place space the way you want it. Even like, painting a room like black, like this one right here. Most likely you have to ask permission from the landlord, and if they say no, then most likely you can't do it. The reason I'm using black here, because I'm a landlord myself, and if a tenant come to me and ask me to, oh, can they paint the back of in the back black like this, I would say no. The reason for that is when they move out, you want to make sure that your property is presentable, and having a black back, black paint, black paint on the wall is not for everybody. Some people like it's a lighter color, so having it black like this would not work for a landlord. The other thing is, if you put all these stuff on the wall like this, of course you're gonna have to like put holes in it, and if you rent a space with a landlord, they might not allow you to put that much hole into the wall. So the other so one of the good thing about home ownership is you can personalize your space any way you want it to, because of course you own the place, right? And the third thing I want to point out is, if you own the property, it become a safe space for your kids, because kids, when they're younger, they tend to like consistency and stability. So if you buy a house and it's in a good neighborhood, the kid will grow up with that neighborhood, and they don't have to move around all the time. Whereas renting, if you rent a place, let's say the owner decided to sell the place to somebody else, or the owner even, like, decide, oh, they want to move into the place, then they will have to pick up your item and go, and they can give you like a 30-day notice, and then you have to be out the property and find a new one like right away. And with kids, if you're moving around, like, school district, it's very hard. I have a friend that have like a 2 or 3 years old, and they just moved into a new place, and close to their new property, there's a good school, but they can't go there because one of the son, he is very hard, he have a hard time, like, adapt to a new environment. So I heard from my friend that when he first started school, it took the parent like around like 6 months before the kid actually be able to adapt to the new school. So that's the other thing. So if you have a home and you own it, and you stay there for a long time, then create consistency and stability for the kid to grow up, and stability build stronger children, right? And then of course, not a lot of owner will tell you this, but the downside of ownership will be discussed here as well. The hidden costs. The first one is property tax, right? So if you own a property, you have to pay property tax every year. Two installment. The first one is due like at the beginning of December, and it's gonna be late in sometime in December. And the second one is due in February, and it's gonna be late in April. So if you own a property, you don't have to pay property tax, because the landlord's gonna take care of that. But if you own a property yourself, I mean, sorry about that. If you rent a property, you don't have to worry about property tax. But if you own a property, you have to save up to pay property tax every year because you're the owner of it, right? So that's one downside to the owning a property. The other one that is a downside, it's kind of like opposite of the upside. It's sometimes you will still feel stuck, right? It's not flexible. For example, if you have a different job in another city, you can't just pick up and go because what's gonna happen to your property there? You have to find a way to to either sell it or do something with it. And so sometimes you feel stuck if you own a property in a certain area, and it limits your possibility, like your growth and career wise and stuff like that. So some people feel like if you own a property, you'll be stuck there for a long time. So, and some people don't like that. So that's another downside. And of course, the main thing that we want to talk about in this video is the major maintenance. For example, if you own a home like over the years, there's a lot of stuff you need to do. Like let's say you have to fix a toilet, you have to clean out the gutter, you have to fix the roof, you have to fix the window, all those kind of repairs. It's on the owner itself. So if you own a property, then you have to do all those repair. But if you rent a property, most of the time the landlord's gonna have to take care of that. So you don't have to worry about major maintenance if you're a renter, but if you're an owner, that's what you have to do. So today we're gonna talk about one major maintenance cost that we were hit with at the beginning of this year, 2026. And if you don't have an adequate saving or reserve, we'll be in big trouble. And that so at the very beginning of this year, we found out that our furnace and AC, it's like really weak. It's some days like it take forever for it to to go up to the setting that we set because of the how old it is. And after consulting with like three separate AC company, we realized that it's gonna cost us between, I think the lowest quote we got was 18,000, and the highest quote was like 25 plus, right? And we even checked with Costco, like because when I went to Costco, I saw they passing a flyer out a flyer, so I called that number up and I even have them come over and quote us. And I think that's one's in the 20 something thousand range. And with us, it's kind of like a very huge like shock because where am I gonna get that kind of money, right? So here's our furnace. As you can see here, it's very old, and it determined that it's over 20 years old. So that's why we have to fix it, right? So after we consult with a couple, and here's a picture of here's what you can see at this is our AC units, right? So both the AC and the furnace are very old, right? So after consulting with three separate companies, we kind of put it aside and said, oh, let me think about it and see what we're gonna do. And then my wife told me, hey, why don't you call up the the guy that install our electrical panel like a couple of years back. The funny thing is his name is actually Qua too, so it's the same as mine. But I'm like, hey, wait, maybe we can do that. So I told my wife like, yeah, let's contact him. And his company is actually this company right here. It's called KT Electrical, and it's on Yelp, so you can find him on Yelp, right? So we call him and we got a quote from him, and it turned out that to replace both our AC and our furnace, it's gonna cost everything included 11,500. And when I hear that, I'm like, oh man, that means we're gonna be able to save like a whole bunch of money, right? This doesn't include like but installation in the attic, but it's 11,500, so it's like at least 5 to 6 thousand lower than the other quote that we got. So we call up KT Electrical right away, and then we said, okay, go ahead, and we're gonna do that. So the payment is really good. They actually allow us to pay like 2/3 first, and then the last in like a month after that. So it's not too bad. And then once we hire them, they the next day, like they work very quick. The next day they brought over the new item, like the new unit. As you can see here, this is the new furnace right here. They brought it and they put it into the backyard of our house. This is new furnace right here, and and here are all the new vent, the new pipe and vent. So we're gonna replace the whole thing up there too. And in addition to that, as you can see in the back there, right behind uh, the old AC right there, on top there is the new AC, right? So they brought it over like right away, and they start working on it. And before they actually start working, they have to kind of like put the put the put these thing under the house, like on the floor, so that it doesn't get the house dirty. So they lay all these out. Here's the pathway to it, and going from the garage, going toward the furnace itself, because the furnace is inside the house. And here's where the attic, like the entry to the attic is. As you can see, I'll just gonna show you a little bit on how my attic looked like. So like here, like so sneaked up. There we go. So this is how our attic looked like before everything is replaced. So there we go. And then go down, and then here, if you go toward this way to the living room, and a little bit, there we go, that is the old furnace. So they have to lay those cloth out so that nothing, so minimize the dirt from coming out, right? So that's how it is. So there we go, right? And then afterward, once like I think it took them maybe a day or a day and a half to replace the AC, the furnace, and then the new pipe, the new vent. And this is how the new AC look like once they're done. So they have a foundation down there. I think they removed the old one a bit, but that's the new one right there. And as you can see, this is how it look like. Right, so very professional. This is a brand new unit that we got from them uh, to replace the old one, right? And then that's the AC. And then now here, as you can see, here's where the new furnace replaced. And they took out the old one, and then they replaced with the new one right here. So they put it like right where the old one used to be. They install everything, and they even kind of like close up the 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 on the top there. They have to make sure that no the heat there doesn't go back up to the attic. So they have to kind of close it up very professionally. Here you go, and there we go. And that's the new unit. As you can see, that's the new unit that we have right there, right? And then guess what? At the end of it, at the end of the replace, the total cost is 11,500. That's including the labor and the material itself. And lucky we have to pay them, like when we first started, we pay them 8,000 right after they start, so that they have money to buy the material and all that stuff. And then after they finish, a month later, we pay them the rest, right? So at the end, well, yeah, that's how my wallet looked like at the very end. So as you can see, without an adequate reserve or saving, we would completely be like, over our head right now, because it's like I mean, before the end of last year, I didn't expect to spend this much money in January of 2026. But the good thing is we actually have enough reserve to pay for all these. And now, our home is like it's a pretty good the AC and the furnace is working very well right now. And that's our pathway to home ownership. Anyway, that's it for today. If you have any issue, or if you have any question regarding home ownership, or if you're looking to buy or sell, please give me a call. I'll always gonna be here to answer any question that you may have. Thank you so much, and please hit the like button and subscribe. And with that, I'll see you next time. Thank you.